Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of The Weekly Sting. Got a jam-packed show for you today. As you saw, we talked to Austin Stewart and Caroline Carozza, but before we get to them, we're going to talk to Drew Taylor of Lynchburg Baseball. Drew, first of all, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I want to talk about the team to this point in the season. You guys are coming off a tough one yesterday against Guilford, a 5-4 game there in 14 innings. I know from a senior standpoint, you've only got a month or so left in your season, but do you ever look at the youth on the team and think about where this team could be in the future?
I think this team's heading in a great direction. With the youth movement we have going on now, it's really, two seniors out there full time, myself and Joe Hutzler, and the rest are, for the most part, sophomores and freshmen. Which, for right now, it doesn't always work out for the best. There's a lot of learning curves and a lot of growing pains. But I think you'll see 2-3 years down the line, this team will be prepared for anything and really experienced. And I think that, goes a long way in such a long season that, that we play. So it's exciting for the future, and, I wish all the best for the guys moving forward. But hopefully we can finish out these last, 10 to 12 games pretty strong and on a good note.
For your perspective as a senior, what are you looking to get better at with the last? I mean, you could just coast if you wanted to, but are you looking to improve your game even though there's only a little bit of time left?
Really just trying to take it all in, put it all into perspective that, this is it. And, I've been playing this game since I was 5 years old, and it's been a long time. And, it's really weird to think that you only have a month left when every year, you turn the calendar and baseball season's coming around, and there's no more of that anymore. And there's an emotional standpoint to that too, but, I think it's really just about taking this all in, enjoying it, and just, seeing where it takes us.
What's something specific about what the team, even the younger guys, are doing that gives you that confidence that things will be better in the future?
The at-bats have been a lot better, I think, from the beginning of the season. I think guys were really tense and tight, but that's what you expect sometimes out of, 18, 19-year-old kids that, are coming out of high school. It's their first season out of high school. And but they've looked a lot more relaxed. They look like they're more in a groove. They know, the defense a lot better. They just look better in hitters counts, stuff like that. So not afraid to swing the bat either. And, the pitchers have been, throwing strikes. I think the confidence has, grown over the season as they've gotten more appearances on the mound, which is big. But all that, put together and moving forward will, lead to success for this team.
Now, from my perspective as an announcer, I think of a batter at the plate having to make quick decisions as the ball is coming down. So I have something that I want us to try here this week. We have a new segment, and I think this is mine, this is yours, all right? And it's called Rapid Fire. So how this works is I'm going to ask you 4 questions. You have 20 seconds to answer these questions as quickly as possible.
Okay.
All right? And I will have the timer. Let's do this, okay? And then Drew will ask me questions as well. So it's not just all one-sided here, okay? And I have no idea what they say, and you can confirm you don't know what these are too, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. All right, so are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to start now. What's the favorite sunflower seed flavor on the team?
Ranch.
If you could meet any baseball player, who would it be?
Mike Trout.
What's the funniest moment that's happened to you this week?
Pass.
Who's the toughest pitcher to face in practice?
David Golding.
Ooh, just made it. Time is up. You just got it. I'll give you a pass.
Missed one there.
Yeah, I'll give you a pass. Do you want to come back to that one and maybe let us know what's going on funny in your life?
Our fire alarm did go off this week while I was in the kitchen, but I was not the one cooking.
Okay.
So I got blamed.
So you got blamed?
I got it put on me. Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We'll have to have a chat with whoever made that decision. Okay, so now, if you're okay with me starting the time, you don't have any problems with that. I'll start the time when you're ready, and you can ask me a question.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Which assistant coach might be most likely to win a hot dog eating contest?
Vin Curran.
Which coach, head or assistant, has the best hair?
The best hair? Todd Olson.
Which head coach is the toughest to interview?
Coach Kudelka.
Which staff member in the athletic department is most likely to prove that men can thrive living in caves?
Michael Rutherford.
Very good.
Sure, 1 second to spare. 1 second to spare. All right, good stuff. Well, now people know some interesting things about both sides of our work here at Lynchburg College. Thanks for doing that, man. I appreciate it. Let's get back to some things with you off the field. As far as we've mentioned multiple times, you are a senior, so you got to be thinking ahead to what's going to happen here in a few months. You want to be in media relations. You say a baseball team, but is there a specific one you'd love to work for the most?
I love to work for the New York Mets. I grew up watching the Mets ever since I was young. Being in New York would be an awesome experience as well. Not a cheap one, but
no.
Yeah, it'd be a fun experience. I think also working in the athletic department would be a lot of fun too, covering multiple sports. But I think a focus on baseball would be really neat.
Yeah, the athletic department, it's not a bad gig.
Yeah.
With that said, when you mentioned the Mets, you actually got a chance to go to the World Series last year, right?
Yes, yeah, that was an awesome experience. They've been kind of a bottom of the line team for the past few years, so getting to see them make that run last year and then getting to go watch them play on a stage like that was absolutely incredible and something I'll never forget. Even though they did fall that night and lost the Royals in the World Series, but it's just something that I'll really take with me for the rest of my life and always remember. What is the attraction to being a fan of the Mets because they haven't been as successful as the other New York teams? It's just one of those underdog stories. You're always fighting with them through the ups and the downs, and then when they have a year like they did last year, it's so much fun to watch. It's exciting to be a part of, and as evidenced by last year, anything can happen. Yes, and they can make a run whenever, wherever. So. That is true. And one thing that I think is interesting that some people may not know is that your grandfather actually played professional baseball in the A's organization. How far did he go in the organization? He was up to High A in Daytona Beach. He actually had a shoulder injury that's sidelined the rest of his career, so he moved into the insurance business. But he played at Florida State for a year and then transferred to Miami-Dade Community College down in Miami. So, he was a very successful player, a guy that I, looked up to as far as baseball and wanted to follow in his path and, led me here. So it worked out. Well, certainly not a bad place to play baseball either. If you got to choose a farm league to be in, let's play in Daytona Beach. Definitely, yeah. Well, Drew, thanks so much for being willing to come on the show and participate in that game. And good luck the rest of the way, man. And congratulations on eventually graduating. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks so much. Yep, thank you. When we come back on the Weekly Sting, we will hear from Austin Stewart of men's lacrosse. Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Sting. Before we get to our next guest here this week, which will be Austin Stewart, let's ask you the Hornets trivia question for this week. And this week we focus on women's tennis, who are 8-5 right now. We ask you, what is the most wins in program history in a single season, and what year did that happen? We'll get to the answer coming up in our next segment. But now, let's get to our next guest, Mr. Austin Stewart. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Thanks for having me. I want to talk about, obviously, where the team is right now. You guys are in a spot that you're not used to being in when it comes to a record and coming off a disappointing loss, obviously. But now it seems like that's in the past. We're not going to worry about that anymore. Has that been the progression of practice this week? Is that in the beginning, maybe this week it was, getting a little yelled at, but then we changed that over to let's focus on this weekend? Yeah, I mean, obviously our team's going to be disappointed. We expect to win every game we play in. That's part of the reason why we all come here to play. Sure, we're frustrated after this past weekend, and really this whole season so far hasn't been exactly how we wanted it to go. But none of us are going to stray from the path. It's part of who we are as people. We're going to keep fighting until we figure it out.
And I think that's stayed true to everyone this whole season and this week especially. Guys could have easily given up on themselves and the team, but we can still attain and achieve all of our goals that we set out to do so. So nothing's lost at this point. We just got to keep working, keep fighting.
Have you seen that especially from a leadership standpoint? Have you seen that change that you talked about there? Instead of letting the team get down, they've actually embraced, okay, we didn't do well, let's get better, and they have that mentality moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's something Coach talks about. Is the reality is we are 4-5. So
right.
I mean,
Can't
there's
change
nothing
that.
we can change now, other than to keep going. We got to change some things, looking ahead, change our approach, change how we're doing things a little bit. But we just got to stick to our path and keep going.
Is there anything specific that you guys need to do better from your standpoint?
I think that's a tough question. There's a lot of things we could all do better.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, we just need to play Lynchburg lacrosse. We haven't necessarily done that for a full 60 minutes yet, and that's been part of our problem. We've seen clips of it, and we can be great. And we know that, but now we need to put it together, every piece of the puzzle at the same time. Sometimes the offense will step up, sometimes the defense will step up.
Right.
We need everyone to start to mesh together, and we got to get it going a little bit.
We certainly hope that happens this weekend. Games on Friday and, of course, Saturday as well. A big one against number 15, Stevenson. Before we get to the rest of your life, essentially, off the field, I want to try something new this week. Did it in the last segment. We'll do it again here. And I got some questions here for you in our new segment called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
And this week, we're going to have 4 questions for you, 4 questions for me. You have 20 seconds to answer these questions, and I have not seen these questions. So we're both on the same page, and that as far as that goes, all right? So I'll go first, asking you the questions, and put 20 seconds on the clock, and you let me know when you're ready. Good?
Ready. Yep.
All right, here we go. Who is the dirtiest / smelliest guy on the team?
Chris Hawley.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Maryland Crabs.
What's your nickname?
Stu.
And who's the toughest guy to play against on the team in practice?
Colbert.
Just as the buzzer goes off, naturally, as Austin Stewart would do. Awesome. Okay, great question or great answers. Now you ask me, and when you're ready, I'll start the timer.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
Which head coach has the best laugh?
Oh, I haven't heard a lot of them laugh. Coach Scott.
Which head coach is the most intimidating?
Percy Abel.
If you could use one word to describe the staff in the athletic department, what would it be?
Family.
If you had to be stranded on an island with one coach, who would you pick?
One coach to strand. Man, that's a really good question. I have to be careful with my answer here. Let's go with. I really don't know. The timer's all going off, so I still have time to answer this question. I want to say it carefully here.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. On an island by myself with this person, I would say Coach Kudelka, for sure. Because I know he would find a way for us to get off the island.
Good answer.
Because he wouldn't want to be there either. So, thanks, man. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. We'll wrap these up and put these away, and let's get to some other things. With you being a senior, obviously you're thinking ahead a little bit, not too much, but you have to be thinking about life after graduation. And it's no surprise to me, but it may be to some other people that you want to work in lacrosse when you're done here. Do you have any specific aspirations for when you do graduate to get involved?
I don't necessarily have anything specific planned or hoping. I know I'm gonna, in this coming year, I do plan on working with like a little more youth lacrosse, just to kind of get going with the business side of that, with the club programs and the camp circuit. But ultimately, I do want to be a lacrosse coach someday, maybe at the high school or college level.
Right.
So, I'm just kind of going to keep going with it, and obviously, I'd love a chance to continue to play as well. So we're going to see how that works out after the season, but hoping that doesn't come for a while.
Right. Well, and obviously, your life is filled with a lot of lacrosse, but also you do have other hobbies outside of that people may not know about as well, which would include tennis, which I thought was kind of interesting. You were actually going to play tennis yesterday when I saw you.
Yeah, so a couple of the guys on the team actually, we all always like joke about like playing tennis and wanting to play. Well, we all took elementary tennis this semester, 10 o'clock Mondays and Wednesdays, and it's a blast. Everybody's getting better, so it's starting to be competitive.
Yeah.
We look forward to Mondays and Wednesdays. It's just an awesome time to get out there with your buddies, but we take it pretty seriously.
You're going to take it on to the next level and like get a membership and be that old guy playing tennis one day.
Yeah. I'm going to need something to film you.
That's not bad. I also have to mention, I love that when I asked you for hobbies, you put lounging. I think that's great. I think that's honest. It should be all of our hobbies. Take a second.
I agree.
To lounge, just to relax.
You just need that.
Yeah, you do. In addition to being a great attackman on the lacrosse field, you actually, at least you say that you are a good goalie for floor hockey, which is going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, coming off a championship last season, lost the whole team due to graduation, so I got on the juniors and sophomores team. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every hockey guy who played hockey in high school on our team, and then they threw me in the net. They didn't trust me at first, but I've earned my way.
Keep, right?
I'm a full-time now.
You're a full-time netminder. Okay, I like that. And the last thing I want to just bring up is, even though your schedule was extremely busy, you guys as a team and you yourself have found chances to work. You interned at YMCA last year. What did you get from that experience?
So in the ex-phys department, we have to do an internship, and I chose the YMCA because I had an opportunity to not just work in like strength and conditioning or personal training, but I actually took it a different route and worked with the director of the fitness facility.
Okay.
So I got to learn the ins and outs more like the business side of things. So I learned payroll and budgeting and things of that nature. So I really enjoyed it because that's more what I could see comparing to coaching, just having to be in charge of all these decisions to make, and less on the side of, learning how to train a client. So that's less my interest than the being in charge and learning the business side of things. So I really learned a lot, and I really enjoyed it. So I had a great time with it.
That's the biggest point of internships, is to make sure that you do something and find out if you want to go that route or not. So obviously you figured that out. I do want to ask from a player standpoint, I share an office with former players, Vin Curran, Dylan Hoff, John Lombardo, and they obviously will tell me at the drop of a hat, they learned a lot as a player that's helped them to be a coach. Do you go to them sometimes and try to figure out maybe a different angle than the player's angle on something? You kind of see it from the coach's perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to those guys all the time. I was actually just talking to Coach Bradney too, so I talk to all the coaches all the time. They have good opinions on things. Obviously, I trust them with everything they tell me. But yeah, especially from the graduate assistants in Coach Lombardo's position who played here, I ask them for advice all the time, especially being a senior. They were there not too long ago.
Right.
Get advice that way. I'll even talk to Coach Lombardo from the different side of being a defensive coach. I like to see his opinion on things as an offensive player that maybe I don't see the same. But yeah, I've learned a ton from all the coaches, especially Coach Hoff, who played attack, obviously.
Right.
Coaches the offense with us, but yeah, I trust those guys with everything, and I go to them all the time.
Did he give you a hard time, or how did he handle the fact that you passed him on the points list?
We joked about it for a while, but he told me time and time again that he wanted it broken. So
okay,
it was pretty cool to do such a thing with the coach who is still here with me and who I know is an awesome player here. So I'm just grateful to be in the same category as him.
It's a pretty good company to keep, that's for sure. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate your time, and good luck this weekend on Friday and Saturday, of course.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Caroline Carozza of Women's Lacrosse.
It's on us, every Hornet, to stand up for one cause, to stand up against sexual assault.
To have the knowledge necessary to identify when sexual assault may occur.
To show integrity when confronted with a domestic violence conflict.
Where consent has not or cannot be given.
To create a community where sexual assault is unacceptable.
To provide service to survivors who need our support. to embrace diversity, and to provide a safe atmosphere for all Hornets.
Regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender, or ability.
To engage others on the importance of sexual assault awareness.
To value the tradition of standing up for others when they reach out.
To be consistent with our message, never wavering what is unacceptable.
It's on us to stand up to sexual assault at Lynchburg College. We are one nation, and it's on us.
It's on us. It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's edition of the Weekly Sting. Before we get to our final guest, let's get to our Hornet Trivia answer. And in the last segment, we talked about women's tennis, and we talked about the fact that they have won 8 games this season. And we asked you, what is the most wins in a single season in team history, and also what year did that occur? It was 12 back in 86 and 87 here at Lynchburg College when they were 12-5 as a final record. They have 7 games left this season to potentially tie that or break that record. Now we'll bring in our last guest, Caroline Carozza of Women's Lacrosse. Caroline, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. I want to talk about the team to this point. You guys are coming off a pretty good 4-game road stand, and especially 21-1 win over Holland certainly doesn't hurt. Now you're coming back home. From the player's standpoint, do you guys get more excited for a home game when you haven't been home for a while?
Definitely. There's nothing just like playing on your own field and having your friends and family there supporting you. I just think it makes a huge difference for us, and we usually get off the bus, but it's good to make sure that you're on your home field and we're coming right out of the locker room ready to go.
What is something that you guys have learned in that road stand, as far as maybe something that got better, maybe the team got closer? What's something you take away from that?
I think after our spring break trip, our team got a lot closer, which makes a huge difference in how we are playing. And I think getting off the bus, the W&L game, we played that game from the start till the end. And I think that was our first game we played all season on the road that we finished strong, and we started strong as well. One of the biggest takeaways I had from being at that game and watching it was that even though you guys lost, there was a sense of, man, we are really close to what we want to be and where we want to be. Is that the feeling you guys had at the end? I mean, it was definitely nice because when we played them the last 3 years I've played, they beat us pretty bad in the beginning of the season. So last year our season ended in overtime with them, and kind of the same score in the same way. So I was kind of there for unfinished business. So it was kind of disappointing not coming out on top, but it was huge that this was our first ODAC game and we were able to hang with such a strong team. Well, you might be able to face them again. Who knows? I know. With the overall look of your team, what's something that makes this team special compared to ones in the past? I think the biggest thing is that everyone's a threat on offense. So if one game they're shutting someone down, for instance the W&L game, the first half, they kind of had me blocked off behind the goal, and then Kat was able to step up and Laura, and people were able to come in huge. And in the second half they shut off people on the top, and people below were able to make a huge impact. So they can't really shut down few players. We're more of a unit this year, and I think that's going to help us so much in the long run. Now, with you being a senior, as I've mentioned earlier in this show, even with the other 2 guests, you're obviously focused on your sport, but you got to be ready for come May as well. What's something that you're looking at as far as where you would like to be and what your career goal is at this point in your life? So I had an internship this summer where I was actually with iHeartRadio, and I spent the summer on the radio 3 days a week, but I also did the marketing and PR aspect of the radio station. So I ran social media accounts, and I was also able to help participate in huge music festivals in Delaware and Maryland. So that was just so exciting because I love music and I love marketing, so I was able to put 2 things I love together. Yeah. So I would love to kind of follow through with that and kind of look into that, but I also love I would also love to work in a school, so I kind of have 2 different, 2 completely different opposites. Things I'm looking at. So both would be something I would love to do. What's something that happened in your internship that really just made you decide, this is what I would like to do someday? I think just I love the environment, and I loved working with people, and I love marketing is working with people. Right. So it was great to do that, and I loved being on the radio. It was fun, but it was also work. So I don't know. It was just it was great. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, if you can find a job that doesn't feel like a job,
and you enjoy going to work every day, stick with that, because there are plenty of them that don't do that for you. That's for sure. One of the interesting things that when we talked about coming into this show was, for you anyway, family traditions. You guys do a lot of things together, and it could be a multitude of things. What do you get out of spending that much time with your family? What do you take away? What do you cherish most from those moments?
I think so. It's my mom and my brother and I, and we call each other the Three Musketeers. And I think that we just we love being together, and we cherish our time together. And after we suffered a loss in our family, I think our time together means so much more than it ever could before. So I mean, we all live in different states. So when we come together for the holidays, or my brother will come home for a few weeks in the summer, those memories. Even though we're not doing anything exciting or we're not going on trips, just going to the beach and going to the movies and going to dinner, it all just means so much.
What is an exciting trip that you guys have taken?
Our last trip, we went to Barbados after I graduated high school, so that was exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
We were there for a week, and we actually didn't stay in a resort. We lived in a house that my friend, we had family friends who grew up in Barbados, so we stayed in a neighborhood, which was kind of scary because we were definitely not in our, it was definitely different, but it was definitely it was fun. We were right on the beach. It was relaxing. I like relaxing vacations, sitting on a beach.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. Well, now I want to kind of break away from the relaxation talk and put you on the spot. We've got a game this week called Rapid Fire. So, what we have is 2 cards, all right? This card is for me, has 4 questions for you. You have 20 seconds to answer those questions.
Okay.
This envelope has questions for me, from you, that you have not seen, I have not seen, you have not seen these.
Okay.
So,
can I open this yet?
Yes, you can open those. I will go first.
Okay.
And I will put 20 seconds on the clock, and you have that long to answer these 4 questions, okay?
Okay.
You ready? Here we go. Who's the funniest player on your team?
Alexa Carey.
Which actor would play you in a movie? 10 seconds.
Jennifer Gardner? I don't know. I just saw.
What's the man? That was rough. We got 2 out of 2 out of that.
No.
We're gonna finish though.
Okay.
What's the longest you've gone without sleep?
Not long. I cannot go long. It's not pretty.
And who's the most superstitious on your team?
Probably me.
You?
Yes.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. So a little rough there, but now it's your turn to get some revenge, and you can ask me some questions. And I will, when you're ready, I'll start the clock, and you can go. Ready? All right. Go ahead.
Which assistant coach has the best smile?
Wow. Elise Delisle.
Aww. Which assistant coach has the best wardrobe?
Vin Curran.
Who in the athletic department is most likely to travel the world?
Gracie Withers.
What is your favorite dessert that has been brought to work by a staff member?
Last week we had some killer cupcakes, like cookies and cream and Oreos. It was really, really good.
Who brought that?
I don't know, but thank you, whoever it was. I appreciate that. Caroline, thanks so much for coming on the show this week. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and good luck with this week. You guys have a home game this week, so we'll be there, and hopefully we can get a win.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. That's going to do it for this week's edition of The Weekly Sting. Make sure you get interactive with us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. We have a Snapchat takeover coming up this Sunday, so stay tuned for that as well. That's going to do it. I'm Joe Hutzler. Make sure you check us out every Thursday at 6 p.m. at lynchburgsports.com.